Welcome to Connections. I'm your host, April Healy. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Jenn Stockman. She's back again, and she's also the first-year director of the School of Ministry. Hi, welcome back, Jenn.
Yay, I love being back.
I love having you here. Today, I'd love to actually talk to you about your relationship with Jesus.
I love him.
I love that you love him. Can you tell us how you met Jesus, how you fell in love with him?
Yes. Well, I grew up going to church and really just fell in love with the story of him at a really young age. And when I prayed that prayer to give my life to him wholeheartedly, I was 9 years old at a church camp.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like there was a point in life when you you give your life to Jesus, but then you really fall in love with him? Did you have one of those stories where you were like, this is when I really actually gave my heart to him fully?
Yes. I felt like it never wavered that I wanted to live for him wholeheartedly, but it definitely changed when I was around 15. I realized that he wanted a personal relationship with me. And up until that point, he really felt pretty distant and removed, and that he loved me from afar. And when I became about 15, I started walking into a process of relationship and intimacy that I really had no idea was available until then.
Can you give us some of your stories out of your book that feel like standout stories of just you being intimate with the Lord, or really anything?
Yeah, sure. Yes. So the book is called The War on Your Voice, and it's really my story of just my journey with Jesus in learning to live unashamed and free in who he created me to be. And that we really each have a story of manifesting the nature of Jesus and who he is through our experiences, through our life scenarios. So this summer, I've really always dreamed of writing. I've always loved writing as a little girl, and I would get these prophetic words about writing books, and especially the last several years, they were just coming super consistently.
Wow.
And I kept trying to write a book, and it literally just felt so dumb. I would sit down and I would write, and I would be the only person reading it, and I would be blushing. Like, this is so embarrassing. And just found myself telling the Lord, I'm trying to be faithful, and this is just so hard. I don't know how to write a book.
Yeah.
And everything just really shifted last year in the spring, when I really felt him say, I haven't called you to live a life that you can sustain within your own strength.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't called you to live a life where you can accomplish within yourself everything I'm asking you to accomplish.
Yeah.
And really just saw his invitation for me to live a life that needs him, that success in the kingdom is leaning on and needing Jesus. And so through the story of my life, I've just seen this process of growing in my need for him.
Yeah.
That the Christian life isn't just one experience of giving our life to him, but it's a daily leaning on him, a daily yielding to who he is. And I tell a story in the book about just really realizing that the bride in Song of Solomon, there's a portion of scripture that says, who is this coming up from the wilderness leaning on her beloved?
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing through the story of my life, we don't lean on him because we're broken or because we're so deeply wounded from the trauma in our life. We learn to lean on him in the wilderness because we just became intoxicated with the reality of his goodness and overwhelmed with the reality of his nature towards us. And to me, it's just a picture of that person just kind of stumbling around who's had too much to drink.
Yeah.
But in the spirit, it's that we're just leaning because we're just so intoxicated with the reality of his love and how captivating he is. And so I feel like that's so much of my story, that the wilderness seasons are the seasons where we learn to fall in love and in need with our bridegroom.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
What does it look like for you when you spend time with the Lord?
Well, the last several years, 11 or maybe 12, I've been in the child rearing years. So I felt like I was pregnant or nursing. I was keeping a baby alive, and that's a lot of twists and turns and sleepy times in the last 12 years, And when I was in single or newly married, when we didn't have kids, I would spend hours in the prayer chapel in Reading, or in college, we had a prayer chapel, and I just had so much time that I could just spend with the Lord. And when I started having kids, I really began to wrestle with the lack of time. I really had someone needing me 24 hours a day, really. 365 days a year.
I know
plus
that season
nights.
very well right now.
Plus nights.
Right.
And so I really had to learn that my relationship with Jesus wasn't hinging on a devotional time. That my relationship with Jesus wasn't about what I could sustain or what I could do. And just really him inviting me in to a lifestyle of devotion, that when I would wake up and literally wouldn't have a minute to myself to sit down with him, that it wasn't my efforts towards him that was sustaining our connection. That no matter how much time or how little time we have, it will always be what he did towards us that sustains our connection. And really this season of raising children, what I will so treasure that I've learned about him is that he loves our dependence on his heart towards us to be what sustains our connection. And so I've really been on a journey of developing a lifestyle of intimacy when I'm doing the laundry, when I'm mopping the floors, when I'm giving my kids a bath, that I don't want to create a life where I'm growing intimacy with him just when I'm sitting down with a cup of tea and reading my Bible. But that it's really my entire life is an expression of connection with him.
That's really good. What do you do when you can't, when you feel like you hit those moments where you are not hearing?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I've had so many of those seasons. And it kind of goes back to the same thing where I really realized that when we feel like we're not hearing, and that anxiety that starts to well up inside of us because it causes us to feel disconnected, is really an invitation to take the pressure and the emphasis off my ability to hear, because I've never heard better by trying to hear better. Like never, not one time. And really the emphasis is growing a trust in the nature of our Father that is so much bigger than our skill of hearing well, but trusting he's the type of Father that will never stop talking. He's the type of Father that will always have something to say, that he will never be silent in our connection. And when I start to feel anxiety that I'm not hearing you, I'm not sensing you, I know it's an invitation to take the pressure off of myself and to begin to grow my trust in his nature and his heart towards me and his desire for personal connection with me that will never rest as a daughter. Like when my children, when they're babies, they come out and they cannot understand what we're saying. We are literally speaking a foreign language to them. But we get in their face and we ooh and we ah and we tell them about our love. I remember right out of the womb, just so much affirmation would erupt from my heart. I'm so proud of you. You're mine, and And they have no idea what we're saying, but we don't stop talking because they don't understand. We just keep talking until they understand language, till they understand the way of our heart. And we have to shift our mindset in those seasons when we feel like we can't hear, that He is a Father. And if we understand, if we hear, if we don't, He will never stop talking until we can perceive and understand His language of love.
Man, that is revelatory.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's beautiful.
He is so beautiful. Thanks, Jenn. Thank you so much for being with us today, and thanks for sharing your heart with us. I just absolutely love who you are.
Oh, thanks, AP. It's such a joy to be here.
And you guys, thanks so much for joining us. I love Jenn. I love all her wisdom, and she just has such a strong relationship with the Lord, and I love that she was able to share it with you today. And you guys, thanks for watching, and please come back next time.